Because plant growers can use selection to change any trait of a plant, it means we've created a lot of different varieties of fruits and vegetables. Not only are there the round orange pumpkins that you're probably used to, but plant growers have also created, as you saw, a giant variety of pumpkin. But that's not all. If you ever visit a pumpkin patch, look for some of the strange varieties that have been created too. Like this, white ghost pumpkin, or blue pumpkins, or striped pumpkins, weird warty pumpkins, or even this crazy multicolored pumpkin. In total, plant growers have created over 100 different varieties of pumpkins. Plant growers can make the varieties of a plant look so different from each other that it's sometimes hard to believe they're still the same basic thing. These are all still pumpkins. All pumpkins started out from the same original wild pumpkin, which is thought to have come from the country of Mexico long ago. When you look more closely at any two pumpkin varieties, even though they might be very different in one or two traits, like color or shape or size, they've kept all their other original traits. So if they came from the same original wild fruit, they'll still have lots of traits in common. For example, when we cut them in half, you can see their insides are still similar. There's a thick outer skin and a hollow center that's filled with lots of seeds. And look at the plants themselves. Whether it's a classic orange pumpkin on the left or a ghost pumpkin, their leaves all still look very much the same. And their flowers do too, as you can see in these side-by-side comparisons. So even though they're varieties of pumpkin, you can see all this evidence of the fact that they were long ago made from the same original pumpkin. Now, this might come as a surprise, but if you've ever eaten squash before, well, have a look at squash when we cut it open. Does that look familiar? And here's the leaves of a squash plant. If you don't remember, here's the leaves of a pumpkin plant. Here's the flower of a squash plant. Compare with the flower of a pumpkin plant. That's the surprise for you. Squash isn't really its own thing. By seeing its similarities with pumpkins, I can let you in on a little secret. Squash is just one of the 100 pumpkin varieties. It too was created from that same original wild pumpkin that's thought to have come from Mexico so long ago. So pumpkins and squashes are just two different varieties of the same fruit. Just like how a Red Delicious apple and a Granny Smith apple are both apples. It's just more surprising with squashes and pumpkins, since we call them by such different names. But we could have called squash anything really, like long pumpkin, or maybe a better name for it would have been nose pumpkin. Whatever you call these, they're both varieties of the same fruit. In fact, everything you see in this picture are all varieties of pumpkins. Isn't that crazy? They're such different colors and shapes, but inside, they all look similar. So what do you think? Are there any other plants in our lives which turn out to be varieties of the same thing? You know, two fruits that seem different from each other, but actually came from the same original wild plant? There are a few more surprises. See if you can figure them out in today's activity.